In this video, we're going to talk about arpeggios. The use of arpeggios is a powerful and essential tool in playing through chord changes. We'll talk about what arpeggios are, why they're so important, and offer practical applications. Before we go on, please help support this free content by hitting the like button and subscribing. Leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions, or let me know how you do with these concepts. Well, let's start with why they matter. When we play arpeggios, we essentially spell out the chords to the listener one note at a time. So if we're playing The Autumn Leaves, we can really hear those changes. When you do think about arpeggios, you don't necessarily need to strictly limit yourself to them. You can use them as a basis of consonants and spelling out what the chord changes are. So let's get back to basics a little bit. Let's say we have a chord, C major 7. So we can play this as an arpeggio by playing the notes individually rather than playing them as a chord. Now, if you play with a chord shape, you're going to have a lot of larger intervals, especially on guitar. So you're going to have a perfect fifth, major third, perfect fourth. And sometimes you may want to do that. But when you go to study arpeggios, work at playing them in order of high to low or low to high. So here we have C, E, G, B, for example, or we could have C, B, G, E, and then we can have different starting points or inversions within that. So the next level of this is to really have the ability to play those arpeggios all over the neck. So you might take one and play in different positions. And play throughout the neck, like we've talked about in previous videos. Okay, so why are these so important in jazz? To navigate some of the chord changes in the jazz repertoire, it's important to have an awareness of where those arpeggios are, where those notes are in these chords. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to play exactly those tones, but let's say we have a 2, 5, 1 in C minor. So we could play something like that for D minor, and then G7, play something like that, and then C major. So I'm using the chord tones, and that will help to outline those changes. So this will help your lines sound intentional and connected to what the chordal player is doing and the bass player is doing. If you rely heavily on scales, a perspective on arpeggios as they relate to the chord that's being played can help you to get more specific with your lines by understanding chord tones and non-chord tones within a scale. For example, if you have C major 7, and you play the arpeggio of C major 7, then you land on this tone, the D, then you'll have an awareness that that is not a chord tone within this sound. but you'll understand that it's related to it, and you can call it the 9. So if you're playing scales and you're not necessarily connected with the awareness of what's happening with the chord at a given moment, your lines can become a little bit haphazard. So tie in the awareness of arpeggios with the scales that you already use. Practicing and knowing arpeggios all over the neck can make you a more fluent player and prevent you from getting lost in tunes. If we have a C major 7 and the tune suddenly goes to F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and let's say you know the arpeggio to F sharp minor 7 flat 5 way up here and fret 9, or position 9, and you know C major 7 way over here, position 2, your lines can become disjointed. So knowing the arpeggios throughout the neck will allow you to stay in a position and connect your lines together. Okay, let's discuss some real practical applications. Let's go back to that 2, 5, 1 in C major. Play an arpeggio that starts with the third of the D minor 7. And then start the G7 with the third of that. And then begin the C major 7 with the third of that chord. Let's put that all together. So there, the ear hears those chord changes. You can take it a step further by playing the third at the beginning of the harmony, the 7 at the end of the harmony. So D minor, something like this. G7. And then C major 7. So let's go over that again. I talked earlier about scales and arpeggios and connecting those, but we can reach for any tone that's outside of the 4-note arpeggio, let's say. So we can play chromatic tones as well. Let's say we have that D minor 7 again. We can play something like this. Okay, so we had a chromatic tone, we had an outside note, and so we're not necessarily limiting ourselves to the arpeggio. We want to be aware of arpeggios and then add color between them. Okay, let's work with the G7 here for a minute. What if we play something like this? Okay, so here we have an outside tone for that arpeggio. So the arpeggio, the outside tone. Okay, and that's another thing. You don't have to play every note of every arpeggio. Okay, so in these last two examples, I left out at least one tone. So let's see how that connects into the C. So D minor 7, G7. Okay, And then you can carry on there from the C major 7. So there we have the concept of chromatic passing tones and encircling and all that. So keep this awareness of the arpeggio and keep this awareness of the strength in some of those chromatic tones for moving towards other chord tones. Another technique that we can use with arpeggios is to play an arpeggio that isn't the arpeggio of the chord that's being played. So concept of superimposing harmonic changes. So let's say we had C major 7, and let's say we want a fairly inside sound, but something maybe a little bit different. So we might play E minor 7 over C, or instead of C. You can try various degrees of dissonance with this. A minor 7. D minor 7. G7. G add 9. And many more. Just to name a few, but many more available to you. So a little bit of recap and practice advice. So don't just work with one shape. So oftentimes guitarists get into this position, playing in this position. But make sure you can play within the 5 fingerings on all types of arpeggios. Major 7ths, dominant 7ths, minor 7ths, minor 7 flat 5s, and diminished 7ths, as well as any alterations of those. It's very important to have harmonic context, so use a looper pedal, use a backing track. You want to connect these arpeggios to rhythm section. Then start connecting various arpeggios through chord changes, and don't simply run through arpeggios. Play statements, musical ideas, melodies. This is more of a tool to practice or a tool to use for your awareness of chord tones and non-chord tones. So internalize them and play them in a musical way. Instead of viewing arpeggios and scales as separate, try to gain an understanding of the interconnectedness between arpeggios and scales. Arpeggios are really embedded inside of scales, and that branches out as far as to the chromatic scale. If you found this helpful, give a like and subscribe, and comment, let me know how you're doing. If you need additional help and guidance, please check out the information in the description area. I'll see you next time. Remember to enjoy your practice sessions and do a fair amount of playing too.